Man notices baby toes floating in the lake and starts pulling. What happens next is shocking. He was basking in the sun on a hot summer day. The water felt great against his skin as well. This was his first visit to Windsor Lake with his family, but as he walked deeper into the water, he felt something touch his leg. He assumed it was algae or a water plant and didn't give it much thought. Then he noticed something coming to the surface of the water. It was a tiny human foot, and he was gone. Angelo Mondragon, a plumber from Fort Collins, Colorado, works extra hours to ensure his family has everything they require. They, on the other hand, were in desperate need of a vacation. So he discussed it with his wife. They discussed going to the countryside, but he had no idea that there would be some things that he simply couldn't plan on for his vacation. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell to be inspired by these real-life stories on a daily basis. Now, let's return to the story. He'd done some research on Lake Windsor and had fallen in love with the stunning scenery. He was especially fond of the sunset as it dipped beyond the horizon. He wanted to see the different colors in the sky in person because it was such a spectacular sight. That's why he decided to bring his family. One of the first things he did when he arrived was walk into the lake until he was waist deep. Then something strange happened. Mondragon took his family on a relaxing weekend getaway. It was a great way to unwind after a long week, so they drove 25 minutes from their house to Lake Windsor. When they arrived, they noticed a large group of people hiking, swimming, and boating nearby, and they all appeared to be having a good time. So he parked his car, assuming he'd have a great time as well. Then he noticed one particular family. He had no idea that these people and the lake would give him quite a scare. Emma Hernandez was unable to attend the lake, but her daughter did. Hernandez had a difficult day at work, so her family took her daughter to the lake, and they were there on the same Sunday as the Mondragons. Siddeley was taken aback by the beauty of the lake, but neither Siddeley nor Mondragon realized that their paths were about to cross. In the summer, Colorado can get very hot, but in July, Fort Collins and the surrounding areas reached a high temperature of 87 degrees Fahrenheit, so everyone decided that the lake would be the ideal place to cool off. Everyone else had the same thought as Mondragon. He had no idea that one of life's little surprises would end up catching him off guard. All Mondragon wanted to do once he was in the water was feel the cold water of the lake against his skin. So he walked to the lake's edge and dipped his toes in. He decided to go deeper because the sensation was so cool, so that his hot, sweaty body could enjoy the cool sensation. However, he noticed that the temperature in the lake began to rise shortly after he left. It was only a matter of time before breathing became too difficult. The lake was teeming with families. However, this didn't deter anyone from taking advantage of the refreshing lake. They all reasoned that if this many people were here, he must have figured out a great way to beat the summer heat. However, not everyone was as unpleasantly surprised as Mondragon. Mondragon felt like he was in heaven as he stood half submerged in the lake, trying to cool off. But then things went horrifyingly wrong. Something touched his leg as he stood there enjoying the cool water. He didn't think much of it at first because the waves had brushed up against him so many times, but then the underwater object hit him again, this time with more force. This triggered a mental alarm, and then he noticed something unsettling. He was initially perplexed. Then he noticed a human foot rising to the surface of the water and gasped. Mondragon told USA Today, "It felt like something you wouldn't normally feel in the water. I did a back kick to bring whatever it was up. Then I noticed the bottom of a baby's foot float up to the surface." Siddeley was Hernandez's daughter. Mortified, Mondragon stood there watching Siddeley's tiny toes float to the surface. It took him a few seconds to realize what was going on. He acted as soon as he realized this. He just discovered Siddeley, but the 4-year-old's body appeared to be lifeless. He double-checked to make sure she was unconscious and in need of his assistance. There was no time to fritter away. He snatched Siddeley's hand and dragged her out of the lake. Then he yelled for the girl's family and requested that anyone with a phone dial 911. He said, "I grabbed her and carried her limp body to the shore." The girl had already turned blue. She wasn't taking any breaths. Siddeley's life was saved thanks to Mondragon's quick thinking. She was airlifted to the closest children's hospital, but her prognosis was unknown. "I only saw the bottoms of her feet, and right then she became my child. I slid my hand in," Mondragon explained, "and pulled her out like any of my babies." Siddeley was experiencing hypothermia. Her lungs were also full of fluid, and doctors feared that her brain had been deprived of oxygen. Emma Hernandez was taken aback when she learned that her daughter's limp body had been recovered from the lake. She dashed over to be with her daughter, and it was there that she met Lily's savior. Mondragon's prompt action saved her child's life. Her lungs are fine, her heartbeat's fine, everything's fine, Mondragon told USA Today. If I hadn't been in the right place at the right time, it could have been a search and rescue mission. Mondragon happened to be in the right place at the right time, which was fortunate for the Hernandez family. But now both families understand why it's critical to keep an eye on their children, especially toddlers who like to run away. This incident prompted Mondragon to collaborate with local businesses and residents to collect life vests for children on beaches and lakes. He stated that the baby wasn't wearing a life vest. Lily's life wouldn't have been in danger if she had worn one. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider sharing it with someone else who might enjoy it as well. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.